Hey guys, welcome back to Cruising with Matthew, and in my 14th and final episode in my P&O Oceana vlog series, I'm going to be looking back at some of my favourite memories of our Canaries cruise on board Oceana, so really hope that you enjoy this. Number 1. Sailing on board Oceana. P&O Oceana has been a cruise ship that I've wanted to sail on for a long time. However, I never thought I would actually get the chance to sail on her in the near future because Oceana is one of the ships that primarily does fly cruises, and in recent years she has been based exclusively either in Valletta and Dubai, meaning that if you're not a fan of flying, you are never going to sail on her. In fact, the cruise that we went on didn't actually exist until August 2019. Due to tensions in the Arabian Gulf, P&O decided to relocate Oceana for her winter season between 2019 and 2020 back to Southampton. Because there were some fantastic deals on this cruise, I couldn't help but book to go on to her, and I completely understand why Oceana has such a loyal following. The ship is perfectly sized in my opinion, not too big and not too small, meaning that you have a huge range of facilities, but it doesn't feel like you're walking several miles to get from your cabin to any of the venues further along the ship. Oceana also has probably one of the best atriums in the P&O fleet. It's 4 decks high and just blows you away when you embark for the first time. Oceana is also a Sun class vessel, and you can completely understand why this is the case, because she has ample amounts of deck space, and even on the hottest days as we sailed around the Canaries, me and Zoe always found sunbeds in a really nice location. I also absolutely adored Oceana's observation deck in front of the Plaza Buffet. This offered beautiful views over the bow of the ship, and that's something that you don't get to see very often, so I really enjoyed this. All in all, Oceana is a really nice, friendly ship with a good atmosphere, and it has ample amounts of space both inside and out, and definitely feels unique amongst the P&O ships that I've been on, and definitely stands out in all the good ways. So definitely a ship that I would recommend. Number 2. Visiting Funchal, Madeira. I have to admit, one of my favourite ports of call had to be Madeira, because this is an island that I've heard lots of people talk about on the Facebook groups that I follow, and I can completely understand why. Funchal is really easy to navigate and is a short walk from the port, meaning that you don't have to worry about lengthy transfers. And one of the things I would recommend is get up early and stay up late when you're in Madeira, because seeing the ship sail into Madeira at sunrise is a magical experience. You get to see all the island lit up with the beautiful colours of the sunrise, and it was a really special moment, I think, when I got to see the mountains in the distance being hit by the sun as the sun continued to rise, and it just felt really special. In a similar instance, I really enjoyed just before dinner, me and Zoe went up on deck to see Madeira after dark, and it was equally as impressive, and I can completely understand why people must love going here for the New Year's Eve fireworks, because this must be an incredible sight to see. Number 3. See my friend Zoe. Now, me and Zoe are university friends. Because of our jobs, we hadn't actually seen each other since September 2019, so being able to spend 2 weeks together was a brilliant time for us. We were able to catch up and have a proper laugh. Honestly, I don't think we ever really stopped laughing from the moment we met up until we got off Oceana, because we just couldn't stop laughing and we had a really good time. Zoe especially loved Oceana, and I think I've definitely given her the cruise bug, as she couldn't stop thinking about the Cosmopolitan martinis on the months leading up to our cruise on Oceana, so that definitely made me laugh, and from what I was told, it was definitely worth the wait. Number 4. Sailing under the 25th of April bridge. Now, Lisbon was another highlight of this itinerary, because although I had cruised into Lisbon a few times before, this was when I was about 10 or 11, so I don't remember it that well. However, getting up early is a must for this port, because sailing under the 25th of April bridge in Lisbon, no matter how tall your ship is a really exciting and quite eerie experience as you pass under the bridge, because the noise that it makes is quite haunting, and even though I know that the ship will fit under, from some perspectives it looks like you might end up taking a bit of the funnel off when you sail under, so that's a really fun experience, and the best thing is you get to experience it again when the ship sails out. Lisbon itself is absolutely fantastic. There's tons of architecture, loads of winding streets, and lots of shops for you to spend your time ashore in. So definitely a port that I would recommend you visit. Number 5. Making friends. One thing that I love about cruising is the fact that you get to meet a huge range of people on your travels, and especially if you're on a longer cruise like a 2-week one, eventually you end up meeting the same people because your routines serendipitously match up. And this was really nice because you eventually get to know these people really well. For instance, in the dining room, although we had a table for two, they were in close proximity to each other, so we ended up getting to know Max and John as well as Steve and Diane really well, and we still keep in touch today. You also met people just by accident. For example, when Zoe dragged me to bingo once, we ended up talking to a couple from Scarborough who ended up being in the choir, so we got to have a few chats with them. Then you always had those lovely one-off meetings. For instance, when we were having a few drinks at the bar, it was quite busy in Tiffany's, and two ladies asked if they could sit in the other two seats available on our table, and we ended up chatting and talking about Uno because we were playing that at the time and explaining that to them. And it's just things like that that I absolutely love about cruising, and I think it just makes the whole experience even better. Number 6, bouncing around the Bay of Biscay. Our penultimate sea day had to be probably one of the most memorable sea days of my recent cruises. Although we had quite a bumpy crossing on the way down to the Canary Islands, on the way back up to Southampton was definitely another story. Oceana ended up having to battle up to 6.5 metre waves. Although some people, unfortunately Zoe included, didn't really seem to enjoy that much, I absolutely loved it because I can't help but be amazed by the sheer power of the ocean. And I love nothing better than watching the waves draw up to almost eye level on deck 5 as I read my book and listened to music. Although definitely a rocky crossing and you had to kind of get used to the ship pitching and rolling, it was a really exciting experience for me and I absolutely loved it, and it's something that I will remember for a long time. Number 7, being a member of the Oceana vocalists. Now, I've always been an advocate for people trying out new things or doing things that they wouldn't normally do at home, and for me that is choir, because I used to do it a lot in high school, college and university, but as I started full-time work, that's something I'm not able to do. So I really enjoyed attending the Oceana vocalists, and it was a really fun and relaxed environment, covering a range of songs from well-known things like the Disney songs to more popular things like You Raised Me Up, and even some songs that I wasn't that familiar with, such as The Lightning Tree. It was a really nice experience, and we got to know a huge range of people and had a laugh as we do, and on the last day we got to perform. I think it gives a really nice ending to the cruise, so this is something that I would really recommend. Number 8, bumping into a carnival in Tenerife. Now, me and Zoe had decided to explore Santa Cruz de Tenerife rather than going further afield. And although I have to admit I wasn't massively impressed with this part of the island, as we made our way back to the ship, we couldn't help but notice the sound of drums. So out of curiosity, me and Zoe made our way to try and figure out what was going on. And all of a sudden, we found ourselves in the middle of a huge carnival because we'd forgotten that the Canary Islands were actually carrying out a series of carnivals during the time that we were visiting in order to celebrate prior to the start of Lent. To admit, this was incredible because we had no idea that this was happening, and everyone looked like they were having such a good time. Everyone was really dressed up and getting into it. It was a massive privilege to actually be a part of that, considering we had no idea that it was happening. Number 9, sailing in 2020. Now, this is something that I would have never thought would be an achievement at the start of the year. However, little did we know when we got off the ship on the 8th of March that Oceana had actually completed her final uninterrupted cruise before the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. Indeed, the cruise after us ended up getting stuck in Gibraltar. Then you had ships such as Aurora being turned away from Norway. Eventually, Britannia and Azura were forced to curtail their Caribbean season to sail back to Southampton, and poor Arcadia ended up being stuck in South Africa halfway through her world cruise before making the long journey back, stopping only for technical stops in places like Durban and Tenerife before making her way back to Southampton in the middle of April. It's without a doubt that a few weeks after we got off Oceana, daily life as we knew it changed massively during lockdown, and it means that the memories that I created on Oceana will be ones that I hold dear for many years to come. I feel exceptionally lucky that I was able to go on a cruise before the lockdown happened with very little worry about COVID-19, because we had an amazing time, and I think those memories have definitely kept me going in recent months. And I think this song we sung in choir ties up the end of this vlog quite nicely and sums up my feelings towards cruising when it's safe to return. So, that is my 14th and final episode in my P&O Oceana vlog series, and I really hope that you've enjoyed this. I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with me and watching these videos. Your likes and comments have been really appreciated, and thank you to all of you who have newly subscribed. It is massively appreciated, especially given what's going on at the moment. This vlog series has really helped lift me up, especially during when I've been feeling a bit down on lockdown, so thank you so much for that. With that in mind, I'm going to start doing another vlog series talking all about my 14-night Mediterranean cruise on board P&O Oceana with my family, which I did last year. It'll follow a similar format, so please let me know if you want things changing or if you want other things putting in. If you want to know more about cruising with Matthew, then please take a look at my other social media links, including the likes of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and a Facebook group. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe, because as I said, it's massively appreciated. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I can't wait to show you my next video, which will be talking all about our first day on board P&O Oceana as we embarked the ship in Southampton and got ready to enjoy 14 nights in the Mediterranean. So I can't wait to share that all with you next week. So until then, have a fantastic week.